Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Raymond Ijeomah and I am a real estate entrepreneur as well as a property lawyer here in Nigeria. In this particular video, I'm specifically going to be talking to Nigerians in diaspora. So if you're living abroad and not in Nigeria and you possibly have interest in the real estate sector in Nigeria, I really would encourage you to watch this video to the very end. We've had a lot of issues. In my capacity as a lawyer, had to go to courts for cases that ordinarily shouldn't be there because of certain issues or certain transactions or certain activities that has gone in between the Nigerian in diaspora, the guy abroad, and the person or relations in Nigeria. So certain issues have arisen in the course of buying properties and all of that. And this particular video is designed to ensure that such events don't occur again, such events, because in my opinion, some of these issues, in fact, in my opinion, 90% of these events and circumstances or issues that come up should never have happened, should never have come up. But I mean, it happened. So it's your turn to learn from the mistakes of some others who have made it already. And yes, this is brought to you by Fortreal Rei Ltd, a real estate company registered here in Nigeria. We basically bring you the best of real estate investment, generally property law, investment opportunities in real estate, and everything in between. So if you are here to subscribe, it's important that you do so because you are definitely out to get the best from this channel. Now, from experience, the very first issue that most Nigerians in diaspora have with buying properties is that they are not aware of the present state of things in certain areas and in certain places. So especially when they get to reach out to their relations to say, hey, help me buy property in this our street, help me look for a property in this particular region. When such requests are made, one of the things that we've discovered is that some of these persons actually are not aware of the rate of development in such areas. So what happens is that in their mind, before they left Nigeria, they possibly expected that properties in those areas could be around 2 million. And so they just said, okay, let me just assume that by now things should have gotten to maybe around 2.5 million or 3 million. Not knowing that the properties in those areas have appreciated and development has gotten to that area such that properties there now go for around 5 million, 7 million, 10 million. Right? This usually now is where these people have issues. So scams happen here also. So I need you to pay attention to me quickly. So you are usually excited when possibly a relation of yours reaches out to you and says, hey uncle, there is this property that is available in GRA or in this part of Nigeria and is going for 2 million naira, and you are excited out there. They may not be aware. We've had situations like that we've intervened in, that the clients were smart enough to reach out to us to do investigation, and because of doing that, I remember one of them that when I got there to check the property, immediately I told the client that this is I doubt the possibility of the property going for this amount. I doubt the possibility. And he was like, it's good, he knows the owner is genuine and all of that. That's really what they say. Genuineness of a property is not dependent on how good the person who is selling is and all of that, right? So we're like, okay, no problem, let's dig further. After the documentation, it's a very long story, and to cut a very long story short, at the end of the day, it was actually revealed that indeed it was a scam, because immediately I got to that place, I knew that ordinary properties around that place, just along the road, was supposed to be going for around 5 million, and they were offering it for 1 million naira. So the lady abroad was so excited about it and wanted to grab a property. Who doesn't want to? But that's where I would, should I say blame you guys? I don't know, but I think it's okay to say that with respect, permit me, because when you hear that the property in GRA, for instance, Benin City, where I'm presently resident, is going for 5 million naira, I expect that you are supposed to wonder. People who buy properties are not, it is rare, on rare occasions, that you see distress sales like that. And even when such distress sales happen, such that they are selling a property that's supposed to be worth 10 million naira for 5 million naira, you are supposed to be skeptical. You are supposed to be sure before you jump at such distress offers. So I mean, you have to be careful here. So it is in knowing the state of the development of such areas that you are able to determine whether this is good or this is bad, or this has the potential of being bad. So you need to be aware of the state of development in such areas. And again, where I need you to also just pay attention to on this particular point is that when you are having such transactions, when you are giving your relation 2 million naira to get you a land, and maybe you are not really bothered about the area, you don't expect them to get a property in a built-up area. You may end up getting somewhere that you may not have to build in another 6 months or 1 year, because development are really not gotten to those areas. If you want to get something that you want to start building immediately and living possibly a year after, then you may want to increase your budget. That is why one of the questions that we ask all our clients when they reach out for real estate investment or buying properties generally is, what do you want to do with the land? Is it for investment, or you want to start building immediately? Right? When they answer that question, we'll be able to tell them that your budget can work. This is what you should have as a budget. This is where you should buy, and all of that. Right? So that's basically what I need to say on that point. This point will help you not to be scammed, and to also help you to be able to buy in the right places, and so that you also are not scammed. The second part I need you to pay attention to is that it should involve third parties. I say this based on experience, because we've had transactions where it gets bad already before we were involved, right? And you realize that a lot of things have gone wrong. So by third party, I mean that you should bring in an eye that understands this. So your relation can be very, very good in character. Your relation can be genuine, but your relation can be sincere, but your relation can be sincerely wrong. Your relation can be sincerely unaware. Your relation can be sincerely illiterate about the subject matter of discourse. And since it's real estate we're talking about, there are certain things that come up. There are certain things that happen. Even agents can be sincerely wrong. So you reach out to an agent who possibly doesn't even understand the legalities of real estate transaction. He's a salesman. So basically what he concerns or prioritizes is his sale and his commission. So he possibly doesn't even understand. I can boldly say that 95% of agents that we reach out to for properties, when I ask them what is the document on the land, they don't know. There are just very few agents who you call and say, okay, how much is the property? They tell you the amount. What is the title? They tell you the title. So there are just few of them out there. So basically the point I'm trying to drive at for that is that you need to understand. You need to know that somebody, even though he's sincere, or your relation, even though he's good in character, may not actually understand what real estate is about. He may not really appreciate the technicalities that go around real estate. Somebody can sell a 450 square meters for him as 100 by 100. Somebody can sell a 300 square meters for him in the name of a 50 by 100. Somebody can give him or sell a property that has a charge or a mortgage or some encumbrance on it. He may not be aware. And unfortunately, those agents, those relations of yours possibly still now tell you that you shouldn't bother. They have somebody that can do the agreement, and the person is not a lawyer. You don't know. So a lot of these things just come in between, and that is where in some of these transactions that we're involved in, we were able to guide them and tell them that this is how to go about it, this is what to do, this is what not to do, and all of that. So basically what I'm saying is learn to involve a third party. And in my opinion, the third party should be somebody who understands real estate and understands how it works. Right. Before I do anything, I get to involve experts. When I want to buy a phone, I have to involve experts, people who are possibly into phones. It basically may not cost so much. When I wanted to get a car, the same thing happened. I had to take somebody all the way to Lagos who had to pay bills and all of that to ensure that I get the best, and I'm glad that I got the best. Right. I couldn't have I knew how to drive before I got the car, but it was not just about me knowing how to drive and having the money to make the payment. I needed to also have an idea from somebody who is a professional, who even had machines to test the car and all of that, right? So these are things that you should do. You don't just wake up and say, okay, I have a sister in Nigeria, they can help you buy a property. Somebody should guide them, right? A good lawyer, property lawyer should guide them on what to do or what not to do, right? Even when people reach out to us, we ask them if they have relations here in Nigeria that they could possibly bring into the transaction so that they are aware of what we are doing, So, I mean, the point is get a third party. And if the party you have involved is a professional, then get a relation to checkmate them. If the party is a relation, then get a professional to checkmate the transaction. That is the point I needed to make in number 2. The third point I need to make is that you shouldn't buy properties in the name of your relations. Part of the reasons that this happens quite often is that you are not available in Nigeria to sign. There are alternatives to that. There are so many alternatives to that. So don't. I think I'm just going to go straight into the point for the rest of the points. There are alternatives to that. Don't buy property except you have the intention of gifting the property to this person or just letting the property go for these people. If not, you shouldn't buy properties in the name of your relation. I understand and I respect your trust at some level, but I mean, you have to pay attention to this particular point because anything can happen at any point, right? So the next point, number 4, is that you shouldn't keep your original documents with people who you possibly I don't know. I'm not saying you shouldn't trust your relations. I'm just saying that we knew of instances where people who were kept original documents were kept with sold the property, relations of people who are not resident in Nigeria. So if you don't want that to be your own story, then it's wise to possibly just keep it, except you trust this person absolutely, right? So and that's up to you. And the next point is always carry out due diligence. Always carry out due diligence. Due diligence is a message that we preach very actively. We can't overemphasize the place or the role of due diligence in real estate transactions. A lot of money is involved in real estate, and you also have to be sure. I used to make this analysis to some clients that it's wise that you are spending 5 million naira on a property, that you possibly spend less than 500k to ensure that your 5 million is safe. And so that is wisdom. So when you have 5 million, it's best that you use 500k or less to ensure that the 5 million is secure instead of losing the entire 5 million, right? So it's basically wisdom. Due diligence is critical. Due diligence is basically understanding the history of title, understanding what the property transaction is about, especially because you're not just buying an iPhone, a brand new iPhone from somewhere. You're buying a land, and land has history. So you need to know all of that. You need to know the title involved. And if it has a CO for it is registered, you need to do certain check. If it's somewhere like Lagos, there are 6 levels of investigation that we do for a place like Lagos. For a place like Benin, we have 5 levels of investigation that we do depending on the transaction. Due diligence is not a straight line conversation. Depending on the transaction of the property, the land involved, will determine the type and the levels of investigation or due diligence that will be carried out, right? So please, due diligence is important. And the last point I'm going to have to share with you is that you should engage professionals. And this rounds off everything I need to say. Professionals are key. You shouldn't prioritize cost over value. The value of what you are getting and the value of what somebody is going to bring to the table for your transaction is extremely important if you're somebody who is a smart investor. 4 keywords are very important to us. Number 1, safe real estate investment, smart real estate investment, sustainable real estate investments, and profitable real estate investments. And those are 4 keywords that underline what we do at Fortreal Rei Ltd. And basically, beyond all of this, wherever you are buying a property, do well to engage professionals and practitioners, engage lawyers, property lawyers specifically, with respect. I'm not very good at possibly marine law or something. I could lay my hand, I could pick books and study. I have the basic fundamental knowledge of law and all of that. However, there are certain areas of law that I cannot boast of being an expert on. The same way, not every lawyer can boast of being good at property transactions or understand how property transactions work. Time will fail me to share certain stories with you about some ridiculous questions that senior lawyers have asked me in the course of doing this transaction. Not because they are no good. One of them is specifically an award-winning lawyer in an area of law. But the question he asked me in property transactions simply basically tells you that he doesn't know much about property transactions, right? But he is an award-winning lawyer in another area of law. right? And I respect that. They respect me. We all respect each other. But what I'm trying to say basically is that you should pay attention to professionals who have expertise, experience, and competence, right? And beyond all of this, you should always invest in real estate. Real estate brings you good money, man. So based on where you are, currency you are earning in, you have so much value on your currency, and because of that, it's easy to just, okay, I'll take away 1 million naira every year on one property. In 10 years, you would have built wealth, and by compounding results, you will end up having a lot of assets that you can leverage on whenever you come back to Nigeria. Even if you don't want to come back, you can always resell them, and then they send it back to you abroad, and you keep building your wealth wherever you are, right? So yeah, so that's basically all I have for you today. Again, my name is Raymond Ijeomah, and I'm a real estate entrepreneur as well as a property lawyer here in Nigeria. This was entirely brought to you and powered by Fortreal Rei Ltd, real estate company registered here in Nigeria. We bring you the best of real estate investment opportunities, property law, and everything about, or everything real estate. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye-bye.